You know what's fun is when we kick Michael off the show and it's just me and you together alone. I like it because I feel like it's a way for us to mix things up. On this episode, we are going to discuss all of the ways that I am beating the heat in Austin. And I think this applies to everyone right now. It is hot in a lot of places. People are going on vacation. And I think it's really important to be purposeful and thoughtful of how you are taking care of your skin when it gets hot. And I don't just mean the sun. I just mean when your skin heats up, like whether you're doing a sauna or hot yoga. When the skin heats up, you have to do things to make sure, at least for me, that you're not creating skin damage. I have had a whole long story with skin damage from the sun. So it all sort of started for me when I was about 18 years old. I got a glycolic peel, and I did not know that you could not go in the sun after the glycolic peel. And I also happened to be on birth control. So the combination of the birth control and having the glycolic peel, and then literally walking to my car or just like going to the market, caused some really bad brown spots on my face and my neck. So immediately at 18, I really sort of sought out the tools of what to do to protect myself and be preventative when it came to sun damage. I look at what happened to me with the glycolic as sort of a blessing in disguise because I was able to really, really become a practitioner of how to take care of my skin when it came to the sun. So we're going to talk about your skin, your face, your chest, your neck, your hand, your ankle, your butthole in this episode, okay? We're going to go all over the place. First thing is I think about incidental sun exposure. So incidental sun exposure to me, I mentioned this earlier, is like getting out of your car and getting gas. It's dropping your kids off at school. It's getting out of your car when you are running into work and maybe walking into the grocery store, whatever it is, it's those little moments that add up. And I look at my whole life like this. I look at my business like this. I look at any kind of mental health, self-care, workouts like this. I think those little things really add up to the big things. So the first step for me is really examining when I have incidental sun exposure and how I can avoid it. And I do want to preface this with saying that I am a huge fan of the sun. I just like to take protective measures and preventative measures. So every single morning in the morning, I go outside and I get my sunlight in the morning first thing. And every single night, I end the night outside too. And we're going to get to that. But I just want to tell you, I'm not like afraid of the sun inside. Okay. So incidental sun exposure. I thought about all the times that I am in and out of my car. And what I did is I put driving gloves and a hat in my car at all times. I also do this for my kids. I have Towns' little bucket hat and I have Zaza's little blue hat that she wears all the time in the car and in my other car. So I'm like stocked and ready that if we're going to get out of the car, we try to put a hat on. It doesn't happen every single time. Look, it's hard to get out of the fucking car with kids. It's like a whole nightmare. But if you can and you have a second to throw on a hat, I think it's really important. Driving gloves, I keep in the side of my door. This is hands down so important to me in both my cars. I have a pair in my stroller. I have a pair when I'm walking out in the garage. And what I've learned about habits is you want to make a habit simple. You don't want to make it so you're like looking through your sock drawer for driving gloves. So I put driving gloves wherever I know I'm going to need them, especially when it comes to incidental sun exposure. So definitely in the car. And then I just try to throw it on when I'm running around. I'm not always perfect. I even have like sunscreen in my car. I have my caffeinated Skinny Confidential sunscreen in both cars and even by the stroller, again, keeping it just really simple and seamless. And this really helps. I don't hit it every single time. I am not perfect, but maybe I hit it 75% of the time. That to me is better than zero. So thinking about where you get that incidental sun exposure, especially in the summer, is going to be so important to keeping the skin youthful and protected from the sun, especially if you're in a hot climate like I am. What I did that has been absolutely life-changing that I think everybody should do, and this is inspired by my sister Mimi, she is very thoughtful about her sun exposure, is I got the UV, okay? So the UV is like a rating, and I got it on my phone, and it's on my home screen when I click my phone. And if you're watching YouTube, you can go see that I literally just touched my phone and I can see the UV. And the UV right now is 8, and that is high. So I like to use the sun and go out in the sun when the UV is low, which is why I like to go outside in the morning and the night. I book in the day with the sun. The sun in the morning where I live is 0 or 1, the UV is. At night, it's usually like 2 or 3, sometimes even 1, and that's when I'll take my walk. So I'm paying attention like all day to the UV, so I'm not just baking in the sun. I obviously am not going to go lay out and get a suntan with a UV of 8. It's just too strong of sun. And you guys can go on the internet and like research UV because I'm not a scientist. I'm just here to tell you what I've learned from scientists. But you don't want to be baking when it's super, super hot. So I would recommend if you're in a hot climate to get the UV on your home screen. Super easy little tip. And that's why I just love the mornings. My mornings are sacred. I go outside. I'll do like facial manipulation and meditation. It's just so nice to like soak in the day right when I wake up, but not have such a strong UV. Another thing that I do is I am very thoughtful about my kids being in the sun. So we talked about having hats. I use like a mineral sunscreen for them. I like the one that's in a stick or a spray. I cannot be bothered with like thick, chalky white sunscreen for my kids. It's too much of a mission. And I feel like they don't like that. So a stick where I can just throw it on or a spray is the way to go, mineral. And then I will have their hats stocked by the pool, stocked by the stroller, stocked in the car. And I keep like a sunscreen stick everywhere. I keep it in my handbag. And this is so easy and such a great way for them to be protected. I was inspired to do this episode sort of by my facialist, Stacey Christie in San Diego. She is incredible. She's a medical esthetician and she takes staying out of the sun so seriously. Like she has inspired me since I was 20 years old to be really precise about the sun. She plays tennis in it's for horse training, but it's a sun protectant shirt that's for people who are riding horses. And she wears the best visors. I'm obsessed with her visors. I'll link them on my Instagram stories and also on the blog. She has these visors that are absolutely beautiful and they really protect your face. And this is really inspiring to me because one of the ways that we show age and we get skin cancer is by just laying in the sun. And so I see her in her 60s looking fucking amazing. Her skin looks so good. She has some of the best skin I've ever seen. And I always talk to her about it. I'm like, what did you do when you were my age? Like, what were the tips and the tricks? And she just is like, Lauryn, stay out of the sun when the UV's high. Make sure you are really thinking about what you're doing if you're in hot weather. And Stacey plays tennis every single day. So she's out in the sun. She loves the sun. She's just really mindful about it. And that's inspiring to me. Stacey is someone who has helped me with my hyperpigmentation that I did get from the sun and birth control, like we discussed. And she has given me a plethora of products that she thinks are really helpful to fighting hyperpigmentation and melasma. And one of the products that she says everyone should be on, and Dr. Dennis Gross said this too, and multiple people have said this in my book, Get the Fuck Out of the Sun. Vitamin C is something that I can tell you every single skin expert, esthetician, scientist that has come on the podcast and talked about skin has recommended universally. And Stacey does not fuck around when it comes to skincare. She really is someone who knows her shit, and she loves vitamin C. Stacey introduced me to the brand Elastin. It's absolutely amazing if you're looking for a good skincare brand. It just is results oriented. I think a lot of brands, sometimes they don't deliver results, and Elastin is one of those brands that you use and it's just creme de la creme. Also, another person who loves Elastin is Makeup by Katie. She was just on this podcast, Katie Moyer. She's like obsessed with their products and she's like very, very, very smart when it comes to skincare. So Katie and Stacey recommended this brand, but particularly they recommended the C Radical Defense Antioxidant Serum. And I want to say the exact name of it because it's worked wonders for my hyperpigmentation. And what I do with this is I'll do a couple pumps. A lot of people recommend vitamin C in the morning. So I'll do it, like I'll do my mist, I'll ice roll, I'll do my facial manipulation, my fascia stretching that I'm going to show you guys, I promise. And then I will, really get my face cold with ice, and then I'll put my vitamin C on. And vitamin C is something I do every single day. The one that I've been using, the elastin one she told me to use, you do a couple pumps on your hand. I do like 3 dime-sized pumps, and then I massage it into my skin, but I lift the skin while I massage it. And I'll like stretch the fascia underneath my eyebrow. I'm showing you this kind of if you're watching YouTube. I'm like lifting underneath the eye. I lift up the temple, and I really get the vitamin C serum into the skin. And I think a lot of people will just put serum on their skin and they don't really like let it penetrate. Like I really like to get the product deep into the skin. That's one of the reasons that I shave my face, is because I feel like the product like penetrates deeper. So here's the thing with this elastin serum though. I also take it down to my tits. So I do it on my face. I do it on my neck, like the tech necklines. I'm always stretching those out. And then I'll do it on my neck. And then I even bring it to my hands. I love putting products on my hands and my arms. It's funny that the place that I notice the most like sun damage on my whole body is my arms. So I'm really focused on my arms right now. Got microneedling done on my arms. And so having a good serum to use on my hands and arms is important. And I like this one because I can bring it down. So you want to find a really good vitamin C serum, whatever that is. This is just the one that I've been using and liking. And then you also want to develop a really good skincare routine. You are sort of the habits that you have every day. And if you are just being like 50% with your skincare routine, you're not going to have 100% skin. So I am militant about my skincare routine. I actually, at this point, find it to be therapeutic. I'm constantly working or with my kids or traveling or with Michael, who talks a lot. And I like it as a break for myself. And what I do to really be preventative with my skin is I take 5 minutes in the morning. You guys, literally 5 minutes, sometimes 10 if I'm doing a lot of facial massage. And then I take probably 10 minutes at night. And this is 20 minutes of my day, and it's like me time. And I try to like passively multitask. Surprise, surprise. So I'll put on a meditation. Maybe I'll put on Melissa Wood Health or Louise Hay's evening meditation. And I'll just really make sure that I'm massaging my face with the products and taking my time. I think that if you're in a really hot climate right now, and it's really sunny out and you're not taking those 5 to 10 minutes in the morning and night, just think about that, because over time it really does add up. I have seen some beautiful skin in my life at all different ages, and every single person that I interview on or off air, because I'm interviewing when I'm off air, tells me the same thing. They take their time when they do their skincare. They use a really good vitamin C. They stay out of the sun. They use sunscreen. And I just think that it's important. It's important for everyone, especially, like I said, if you're going on vacation. I learned a wild fact the other day. I learned that the sun, one of the most powerful places that you can get sun exposure, is on an airplane. And that's fucking wild. Like you would never, I would never think that. It makes total sense when you think about it. But the windows are open. You're sitting there and the window's like reflecting and you've got all this sun on your face. And so for me, knowing that fact, like now I'm going to close the window. Like if I can prevent that, I think that's an easy one. Another place that you get a lot of sun that people don't think about is even like when you're shaded in a pool, because the sun reflects off the water onto your face. And I think a lot of people will say, well, I take care of the skin on my face. I protect it with a hat. But my thing is like, I want to protect everywhere. I want to be mindful of everywhere. So for me, it's like, if I'm in the sun in a really hot place, I'm wearing a long sleeve bathing suit. Why not? Like, I think it's cute. I think it's chic. I like one that goes up my neck. It protects my chest. I don't have to worry about that. I mean, if I'm getting a facial, I always ask the esthetician, I say, do you think you can take it to my hands? And sometimes even my arms. If I have extra product on my hands, I'm going to put it on my hands and my arms. And I also think like really researching the products that you are using. For me, when I started using this vitamin C serum, I asked around. Stacy, my facialist, is the one that told me about it. And then I saw Katie Moyer using it, who really knows about skincare. And then I like went online and like did my due diligence with it. And I think for me, I have to do that before I even use the product. So that's important. To round it out, I would just think about your body parts, all the different body parts that are exposed to the sun. Do you have scars that are in the sun? Get that UV app on your phone. Get some driving gloves. Make sure you're using a great sunscreen. And also think about your kids. My kids went to play tennis at her house and she was like, Lauryn, get the hats on them, get the sunscreen on them. Their skin is so delicate and precious. And I really wish that I had started taking care of my skin earlier. My mom was a real sunscreen psycho. She was when I was little. She always had me in hats and like long sleeve bathing suits. And she was always telling me to sit up straight and put my sunscreen on. But then as you age, when you're like 15, you stop listening to your parents. And I wish that when I was like 15 to like 20, that I was really, really militant about it. And I wasn't. So I regret that. I did the tanning bed. I had the Playboy bunny on my lower hip. Like what a nightmare. I just wouldn't have done that because it's aging on the skin. And, you know, I saw Teddy Mellencamp do a post on the melanoma that she had on her back. And it looks like so much for someone to take on to have to get that cut out. And it just seems really traumatic. So my advice is like, use the sun, have fun in the sun. Go out and get your daylight in the morning. Go take a walk at night and enjoy it. Like when the sun's setting. I'm all about being outside. I love being outside. I love doing conference calls while I'm walking, but it's like hat, driving gloves, sunscreen. Super easy stack. Make sure you're taking care of your skin and being preventative. I actually am so into this vitamin C that I'm using that I reached out to Alastin. I asked them for a code. They're giving you guys 10% off. So you can go to alastin.com and use code SKINNY at checkout, which is very nice. I will be stocking up on my vitamin C. This is a real good one. And like I said, it's results oriented. You can also check out my book, which is called Get the Fuck Out of the Sun. And I got to interview the top celebrities, dermatologists, estheticians, scientists, doctors, influencers, podcasters on all of their secrets. And I can tell you across the board, so many recommended a lot of these tips that I just shared. We have everyone from Dr. Dennis Gross, who wrote the foreword, to the Fat Jew. He's in there with his tips. We also have the founders of Summer Fridays. We have Patrick Starr, Lisa Vanderpump, Justin Anderson, Charlotte Cho, Annie Lawless, Chriselle Lim, Rocky Barnes, Molly Sims, Emily Schumann, the Lady Gang, Bobby Brown. So many great, amazing people in my book that I personally interviewed to get all their tactics for skincare. And I also have an Audible version, so you can hear me talk some more on Audible. So you can go on, you can download the Audible, you can listen to it in the car while you're driving with your tinted windows, which I should mention, I also tinted my windows because I don't fuck around when I'm driving. All my windows are tinted in my car. There's like a UV protection you can get. Just a little hot tip. Check out the Audible book. Check out the book, Get the Fuck Out of the Sun on Amazon, and grab yourself some vitamin C, driving gloves, and load up on the sunscreen. Alastin.com/skinny for 10% off on the vitamin C, and I will see you next time.